Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We probably won't have a podcast on Friday. I got to get to the airport on Friday.
I know that's right.
I was like, here we go with the cruise again.
Yeah, sorry.
We are not 30 seconds into this podcast. And we have not heard about the cruise.
Well, I just thought about it and I was like, well, I like to tell you when we're not going to be here. Yeah, just because I know for the podcast that I listen to, whenever there's not an episode, it really throws off my mojo for the ones that I listen to on a regular basis, whether it's weekly or daily or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like to just so you can set the table for the week, maybe go back and listen to some of our other podcasts like Miguel and Holly Full Show or Blown Off or Queen City Confessions or wherever.
Exactly. So yeah, Friday, you got to get to the airport. What time does everything start for you on Friday?
Probably like the 9 o'clock hour, I'll probably have to jet out.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a half day, baby. It's a half day.
Yeah, so probably right after the Friday chant, which for full disclosure will probably be pre-recorded.
That's fine. It's still applicable.
It's all right.
Yeah, it'll just be recorded 30 minutes before it actually airs, but I'll be like, gotta go.
I'll be like, it's weekend time. When's that weekend? Vacation time.
Yes. So I'm super excited. So yeah, we'll talk more about that on Wednesday.
Boots.
Okay.
Yes. But let's go back and talk about our 4th of July weekends.
Yes.
Because we have been off. We were off on Thursday and Friday. So how was everyone's weekends? What did you do, Kelvin?
I started out with leaving a little early on Wednesday. Thank you guys for allowing me to do that. I had to go to this funeral transfer. I don't know exactly what it's.
Funeral transfer.
Yeah.
Explain.
So Oscar, my fiance, he lost his grandma around a few years ago, and his family has just moved from South Florida to Georgia a few years ago, maybe about a year or two. And so they decided, as his sisters finally decided, okay, I'm going to go move up with them as well in Georgia. I'm going to bring our grandmother's ashes so they could bury her over there in Georgia. So I guess there was a ceremony for that, even though they've already had their funeral and done everything else. So that was happening at around 12 or 1 o'clock. I can't remember specifically. So I left a little early Wednesday. We jetted straight through over there. I got there and it was extremely hot, just the weather. And for those who don't know, my fiance has like 4 nieces. They're all under 10, I think. And so there was 4 of them running around. The dad of 3 of the girls decided to stay behind to obviously take care of them. And I was like, you know what? You as the family, y'all should go. Y'all need to go and be out there at that outdoor funeral service. And I will help him with the kids.
There you go.
There.
So you're volunteering your babysitting services.
Yeah. And so I stayed there. I introduced them to Jackbox. So that entertained them for a few hours. And I really disassociated like those 2 days in Georgia, to be quite honest. Like his family's fantastic. They're super sweet, but I was just in my own little world. The kids were playing along. They're a little older. And so
things do get easier when they hit about 7.
Yes, 100%.
Like 7, then you're actually conversing with like a kid that can hold their own, a little bit, depending on the kid. But yeah, that's an age that's a little bit easier to deal with.
Because compared to last year, like it was a hot mess. Last year we arrived, the AC had just broken, so they had to go and fix it. And so thankfully that wasn't an issue this trip around. However, the house was much more full than it was last year because his sister and her daughter had moved. So we were going to go stay with their aunt, who she's also very lovely and sweet. But of course, her AC just broke.
Oh, what is happening with this family?
Bitch. Not Holly, more for Miguel. It was one of those things where, like, if I complain, I'm going to come off as a diva. And I know people are so tired of me talking about this fucking surgery, but I have a compression vest on. I am easily hot. I'm already easily hot without a compression vest. So I didn't want to have a diva moment. I did suggest, I was like, hey, if it's truly really bad staying there, can we go somewhere else? He's like, I mean, yeah, but like, you know what? The hotel rates are going to be around July 4th. And I was like, fuck, you're right. So
yeah, true.
the first night there was 5 fans blowing, and she does have an AC unit, but the problem is it didn't fit in the bedroom. So it fit in the living room, which means the cold air, which was very cold, it was about like, we put it at 65, 64.
Yeah.
It was just being dispersed in one specific corner of the living room.
Yes.
So that first night was, a time.
I mean, did
Yeah.
you like sweat through your vest that night?
It got moist, but I didn't sweat. It was moist.
But that has to be so uncomfortable. It's already uncomfortable with no air conditioner. Like if yours goes out and you're having to sleep, and obviously you're like no sheets, no nothing.
Right.
But you're still kind of swampy, and so you have to sleep with this vest on.
Mhm.
So
No,
that just
not great.
compounds it
Yeah.
and just makes it slippery.
Yeah. 100%.
Slippery. Oh
Ugh.
dear.
Yeah. And then the second day, we figured out, why don't we put the mattress by the AC unit in the kitchen? And that was a complete game changer. So night 2 really wasn't that bad. It woke up super fucking cold. So it was really that first day. Other than that, the family's super great. We ate really good food, barbecued, hot dogs, burgers. His little niece, though, she's 5. She's an evil little genius. She has this like super clever sense of humor where, I don't know, she's just so smart. We had gone to Target and we told the little girls, all 3 of them, the youngest one stayed home. We told them, hey, you have a $40 budget, go off, buy whatever toys you want or whatever, but you do have to buy at least one shirt. And the 5-year-old, we put her in the cart, and the other 2 girls just ran, and I went and chaperoned. But the little girl, her name is Isa, she had said, do I have to get like $40 of stuff? And Oscar was like, no, not at all. She's like, I just want this watch. And she was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, that's totally fine. And she was like, are you my dad? To Oscar. And he was like, absolutely not. And she was like, well, can I get candy? And he was like, no. She's like, I'm going to scream that you're not my uncle. And I was like, you little bitch.
What?
And then she was like, I'm going to say, then it went cute. She's like, I'll say you're my grandfather. And I was like, okay, all right.
Oh my God.
Like, what are these parents teaching these kids out here in these streets?
None of the other kids are like her. She is
That's
the only
so
one that is like that.
crazy. Sometimes there is a wild one in the bunch.
She is the wild one. The other moment that I had with her was when someone left the back door open and Jimbo had gone out. And, right before that door, there's another one that really frees into the backyard. And I was like, no, somebody get him. And she goes, why can't he be free? And I was like, because if he escapes, he's going to die. So she goes, but at least he dies free. And I was like, what?
This is the firecrackers. I feel like Maya would have said that.
Yes.
And then
Oh
I
my
would have put it
gosh.
on Facebook and been like, what is happening?
No, she is so funny, so cleverly smart. Like her teachers tell her, like my sister-in-law was telling me, like the teachers think that she's just very, and not only intellectually smart, but she's also socially very smart.
Right.
Yeah.
She is talking
You
to
have
everybody.
to have smarts to be able to pull off that kind of humor.
Mhm. Especially at that age, because she's 5.
She's 5.
Jesus.
And she notices when the teacher like does her hair or paints her nails or changes something. She's the only kid, 5-year-olds, they don't fucking care.
Right.
She's the only one that goes up to her and tells her about these little intricate things that she changes. So I don't know. I need to start filming her or something. She is so funny. I try to teach her all like the pop culture references. So, and she gets them immediately. Like she's just so funny.
Oh my
That's awesome.
goodness.
Well, it
Love
sounds like
her.
a good time at least.
It was a good time. Then we came back home. Our friends were still there, staying with us, taking care of our cat, and we hung out with them. I feel like I kind of like Miguel has his friend Leighton, where they can do everything together. It's the same thing with our friend Shay and his boyfriend now, Alex.
I do feel like Shay's always just there.
Yeah.
Always there, and we don't really get tired of him, to be quite honest. So
Wait, he has a boyfriend now?
he does, yeah.
How's that? How's it going?
It's going good. They have rekindled. That was his ex, and then that was his boyfriend, and so we're super happy. We always got along, even when they weren't together.
Okay.
So yeah, we're now in better terms with him. And that was pretty much it. We celebrated Eric's birthday, our other friend. We just got a cake and played more Jackbox. And then,
And hold on, what is Jackbox? Because I don't know what it is.
so it's kind of like a game that you can buy probably online or on a Switch or probably your TV. Like if you have a Samsung, they probably have an app.
Well, for I have Apple TV, and it's just you download the app on the Apple TV.
Yeah. And so basically there's different kinds of games. It depends what party pack you get. Some have better games than others. And they're mini games, and everybody can connect on the phone. And they're really fun games. Like, for example, Quiplash is a really good one. It'll give you a
Ooh.
prompt, and I actually have a story about this. It'll give you a prompt of like, oh, what is the last sign that you're gonna see before the apocalypse? And I think this was the prompt that this situation happened the day after. This was Saturday already on my weekend. I went to a friend's house. He had his little like a mini like apartment warming thing, and he invited a few friends that I had already hung out with, and these two new friends, they're straight. And I have never seen them before, so I hadn't like really hung out with them at all. And the prompt was that I think it was like, what's your last sign before the apocalypse? And we're all playing the game.
So you have your own phone. So on the TV, they have the prompt.
Mhm.
And then on your own device, you have to either draw or like type in your response. And then you can't see what anyone else is doing until it starts to show up. Like after the time limit is up for your answer, then you can see it on the TV.
Correct.
It's actually really cool. It's a cool concept. You'd play with your phone, but it's all
on the screen.
partnered on the TV.
Yeah. And thank you for explaining that. In my mind, I was like, you know what I'm talking about. So
But no.
then
I'm like,
as we're waiting for our answers, one person writes like, oh, Jesus was never real. And then the other response was, N-word, you better run. And I was like,
I'm assuming this person was
Who-
not black.
no, there was no black people in the motherfucking room. So I was like, who wrote this? And it wasn't like, haha, who wrote this? It was like, what made you so comfortable to write this?
Right.
I'm the only Hispanic in the room. And I'm not saying that I have to be the voice for black people, but like I'm a person of
Well,
color. So like,
I'm
what
sorry,
am
but
I
you're coming for black people jobs, so I don't know.
like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
taking my black job, girl.
Sorry,
So
go ahead.
I didn't know what to do because this was not only my friend's friend. It wasn't like if it was my group of friends, trust and believe,
Right.
it'll go down. But it wasn't. First time at this friend's apartment, and the friend who was hosting was drunk. So I was like, people around were like, and that was that.
Yeah.
So that was a situation. And by this point, this is day 3 on fucking Jackbox, and I'm over it.
You're like, I'm good. I've played it. I got it.
Yeah. So I've played all the games, and that was pretty much my weekend. Sunday was pretty lazy. Watched a few movies, relaxed. That was my weekend.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart kids and people saying the N-word. Sounds like America to me.
Oh my god.
Somewhere
Yes, but no.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Holly, how was your
No.
4th of July weekend? Any
No N words were said
Say
okay,
that.
good.
or written that I know about.
Yeah.
So that. Okay, so what was it? So we had planned like a nice little day on 4th of July because it was just going to be me and my fiance and Maya. And a couple of weeks ago, she was like, Dad's house might be more fun on the 4th of July. Would it be okay if I went there? And I was like, you're not wrong. Like you're not wrong. I'm sure there's gonna be a party or something.
Right.
So she had then brought it up to him while she was at his house the other week. And then, but I never heard anything about it. So I was like, well, she's with us. I was like, let's make it not unfun. And like, I do fun things. I just not the same type of fun things.
Yeah.
I think more appropriate for 10-year-olds, my fun things, but that's okay. So she then when I told her our layout, she's like, okay, cool, I'm in. And then he unfortunately texted like the night before and was like, hey, can I come over? And I was like, usually I don't care like about our agreement or like which days or whatever. We have a very good relationship when it comes to that. But I was like, I already bought fireworks. And I'm not doing them if mine's not out.
You're like, they will sit inside until
Right.
next year.
Right.
We're gonna have to do this. So he's like, that's fine. So the plan layout for the 4th of July was go to my fiance's parents' house because they have a pool. So we're gonna go swimming. They have a nice grill. We do not. So we're gonna grill out some steaks. Then we're gonna come home, do a bonfire in our backyard, do s'mores, and then light the fireworks. I'm like, all American 4th of July. This is going to be great. And actually, it was great, except for Maya on the 4th of July morning, which Wednesday night, I had some drinks because I was like, it's my vacation. After she went to bed, by the way. So after she went to bed, I'm having drinks. I'm like, this is going to be fine. And I just like, we fall into bed at midnight and I'm like, I'll have until at least 8 a.m., which is what I usually have when she's there. No, at 4 a.m., she calls me puking. And I was like, I'm like bumping into the, I'm like, what's going on? Hey, what's up? What's going on? And she's like, I don't feel good. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So she throws up at 4. And I'm just okay, right. I'm like, okay, let's fix all this up. Okay, try and get back to sleep. I don't know what that was. We don't know. She does not have a fever. I'm like, my first go-to is I was like, did you drink enough water yesterday?
Yes, always.
Always. That's always my go-to. I'm like, maybe you're dehydrated. I don't know. So then I stumble back to my bed and then she calls me again at 5 a.m. And I'm like, oh, I see here. Now, this was not a one-off. She puked at 4, 5, 6, 7, and I think also 8 o'clock.
Oh,
like
no.
almost on the nose. Like
Good
every
Lord.
hour she was throwing up. And I felt so terrible for her. Like you don't ever want your kid to be sick, especially pukey. Like you just want to like, I'm so sorry. And we didn't know what it was. And I was like, at this point, I think it's food poisoning because what else, unless it's some quick virus that you picked up. So we got through that. And then we're like, well, obviously plans are canceled for 4th of July, except by about 11, she was like, I feel fine now.
No.
Like, you just threw up every hour for like 5 hours and you're fine now. She was. So we did the whole rest of the day according to plan, and which was kind of insane that I think about it, because like after that, she was literally fine and we heard nothing else of it. So
that's good. At least you got it out, whatever it was.
Hey.
I was gonna say she had to get it out because I guess whatever it was bad. So 4th of July was fine, except for the very end of the night. But we did some more. The reason this all story goes together, by the way. We don't have a grill, but we do have a fire pit. It's a bad choice. Some bad decisions were made about a few years ago. But we did the bonfire. It was so freaking hot, but we did s'mores. They came delicious. Everything was great. And like everything was fun. Then we did the fireworks. Everything was great with that until, as we talked about this morning on the air, my dumpster caught on fire. It was a literal dumpster fire on the 4th of July.
That must have been so smelly.
It really wasn't, actually. I think I didn't really smell anything. So obviously that was a good thing. We had a fire department come put that out. It was a whole mess. It was just a mess. Cause then we were like, was this our fault? But I think it was only partially our fault. And then I think partially some of the other neighbors that were shooting off bigger fireworks than we were. One of them hit the dumpster, which thank God it didn't hit my garage, hit the dumpster and then set the dumpster on fire. And fun fact, they actually, when the fire department came and they were putting it out, because they also told us not to put it out because we could be breathing in fumes or whatever. When they're putting it out, it was one man's job, one fireman's job. He got down off the truck and he walked down the alley with a giant bottle of Dawn dish soap.
Oh.
It was like his job to like carry out the dish soap. You know what I'm saying? So he carries out this dish soap and squirts it all over the dumpster and then squirts it into the stream of water coming out the fire hose. And I was like, what's going on with this?
Wow.
Dawn dish soap. Apparently you could do everything with it. Remember those commercials where they were like cleaning off the oil spilled ducks?
Yeah.
It kills fleas on dogs and apparently also puts out fires. So
okay, so Dawn is the superior,
clearly
dish
blue
detergent.
if it matters.
The
they
blue.
had
Okay.
blue Dawn dish soap. And I didn't want to ask questions because they did not speak to us.
They were like,
the
we
truck.
don't have time for you because we're trying to put out your dumpster fire.
They were probably like, I'm not speaking to you drunk asses. And honestly, I wasn't that drunk because it was only like 10 o'clock. But anyway, yeah. So they use the Dawn dish soap. I think it must be because like the fire is hard to start back up if it's covered in soap. I don't know.
It keeps it slippery and wet and moist.
Yeah, moist. Yeah. So now we don't have a dumpster for a while.
Oh,
that was 4th of July.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
I know. That's fine. And then what was Friday? Friday, I was trying to take Maya to Busch Gardens, to be absolutely honest with you, because that's a good activity that takes up pretty much the whole day. It's a lot of fun, but also it's so damn hot right now.
hot.
there's been heat advisory after heat advisory, and both of us got up on Friday morning and we were just kind of like, we don't have to go to Busch Gardens. Like, we love Busch Gardens.
Right.
And this is no offense to Busch Gardens. It's just offense to the weather. The weather is offensive.
Yeah, this is that time of year where it's just hot to be outside and just to
Yeah.
be doing anything that
It can be
requires you
dangerous.
to leave the comforts of the AC.
Yeah, it's true. So we instead, so I'm kind of doing like a mini not remodel. That word is very, I feel like it's too much for what I'm doing. But I guess if you want to say, I'm sort of remodeling my kitchen, and I also am remodeling Maya's bedroom. It's not a remodel. We're not like tearing out the cabinets, right? We got new paint. It's not that big of a deal, but it still requires me to like redecorate both. So we've been kind of doing that over this summer vacation so far. And so we went to Michael's and Marshall's and some other place just to look for some stuff for Maya's bedroom, because she's going into middle school and she's been wanting a room redo for like the last 2 years, and it's finally time. So Abe, of course, Miguel's husband, came and painted the rooms. And we've been just sort of redoing all of her stuff, going through clothes. We did a lot of that on Friday. Where did we do Friday? I don't remember. Friday night. But then Saturday was both girls. My fiance had his daughter as well. And we decided, even against the heat, to go to do a little beach day combo with movie day.
Fun.
So it was actually a lot of fun. And honestly, I had a lot of good moments, good memories. There's always like a couple issues when we have both girls. I'm going to get into it. It was just some things that are just eye rolling. And I'm just like,
siblings.
Patience.
And like, it's someone, it's like, obviously that's not my kid. So
Right.
she's parented differently 90% of the time. And so she's got different ideas and things like that, and they just have a different way of doing things. And you're going to run into differences. So when we run into these differences, sometimes I'm like, okay. Well, just that's what we'll do. That's fine. So
does it ever go away? Like, I had a few thoughts that were kind of like mean, but I would always preface when I would share these thoughts with Oscar, like, hey, I know one day she's going to mature, but God, she's so fucking whiny and lame.
Not lame.
Oh, not for little kids.
Yeah. Like, do you still have those thoughts, or do you feel like as a mother, you're just like, oh, poor little sensitive soul?
I think both, because I and not just as a mother, but also as someone who's interested in psychology. I do a deep dive on fucking everybody. If y'all don't think I haven't done deep dives on you too, you're lying. Like, you're lying to yourself. I'm a deep diver. So I have to always feel like it's not my job and no one's paying me for this, but you would think they were. I am like, what would make someone do that? Why are they acting like that? Why would they say that? Why do they do this? Or I wonder what this stems from. What's the root here? So that's always what I do. I approach things with curiosity when it's a little, to me, when it's a little like, what now?
Right.
What? You do what? And I am very aware of, my tone, and you don't ever want to like ask too many questions, because then they feel like you're peppering them with things. So my thing is just to be like, okay, I wonder where this comes from. And so I will talk that out in my head. And usually it gets me to the point of like, I can see where this is coming from. And it's a kid. In my opinion, you have to give a kid grace. They're just the product of their environment, who's raising them, the parenting, all that stuff. So, I put a lot of it obviously on where did this come from, and why does it make sense for this child to be doing this? So that's where I do have a lot of grace for children, especially the quote lame ones or whatever, annoying ones, whiny ones. Somewhere along the line, they got failed somewhere, or they haven't found a better outlet, or they get attention by doing those things.
Yeah.
And it's just an unhealthy way to get it, and they don't know any better on how to get better attention.
Right.
So, yes, to answer your question, I think both. So that was good, but it was a little rough going from the beach, where everybody did get real hot, sweaty at lunchtime, I was most mad at my fiance, I'll be honest with you, but I yelled at everybody because
Everybody's getting these bullets.
I sometimes I feel like I want to just yell at him, but I feel like I can't do that. Like you're sort of breaking parenting code when you start attacking each other.
Right.
So instead, I'll just yell at the group, and then the girls are like, I pull Maya aside. I'm like, I'm not talking about you. Just so you know.
My precious, my favorite.
You're like, listen, just so you know.
Well, if the other one were to ask me, I'd be like, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Dad. Don't tell Dad I said that. Or whatever.
Right.
But the problem was at the beach is we have a whole setup that we do, and I'm very good at doing it. So I do all this. Then I knew it, like, sometimes, I don't know if you even, like, without kids, if you go to the beach, if you hit the point of no return quickly where it's time to go, because people either got too hot or they got hungry or tired or whatever. And it's like,
time.
It's time. Well, I didn't see that point. I didn't anticipate it happening. And then it happened. And then I was like, oh shit, we have to go right now. And like, I got to pull everything down. And so, but we were reaching that point and I didn't quite know it yet when one kid is being like, well, she did this. And the other kid's like, well, she didn't have to do everything that I do. And then they're like, I don't fit, I'm hot. And then my fiance is standing there and he's like, I don't think that this one should be doing that. And I already said something about this. And I don't even know. And I was like, why is everyone whining? I meant like, do something. Why are you telling me?
Fix
Parents! Like, he's whining at me about the kids. And I was like, why I'm the only one in charge?
This is it?
I was mad at him, but I yelled at everybody because they were whining. But really, I was most mad at him for whining. So we ate something. We felt better. And then we went to go see Despicable Me 4, which was super cute. I like those movies anyway. Super cute. Sunday was a super easy peasy day. Maya actually did go to her dad's because she is now on vacation with him and his family for the week. They're going up to the old stomping grounds, Panama City Beach. So that'll be good. She gets to see family and she's excited. She's very excited. She already texted me this morning. She's pumped up and going on their vacation. So I said, have the best time, have so much fun. And then I don't really know what I'm doing with myself this week. We're actually having like dinner with friends and stuff tomorrow.
Oh, Holly's going to have Trulies all this week at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yes. It's
going
to be like Monday fun day.
Yes. Tomorrow morning, she's going to be like, hey, y'all.
Listen,
how you doing?
I do try to, if I'm ever doing weekday drinking on a work day, I make sure to wrap it up early and hydrate thoroughly.
That's literally the only way you can do it. Like we have dinner tomorrow. Like I'm doing stuff Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week at night.
Oh my gosh.
And
what
so
are you doing?
I was like, well, the Thursday one, I'm still kind of on the fence because I'm like, we'll see how I feel.
Day before vacation.
I know. But I mean, girl, a lot of my packing's already done. So listen, it's just like stuff during the afternoon that I have to like today is probably like pedicure, manicure day to get the talons filed down for the ship and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right.
So I start the process of all that in the afternoon, but I'm like, ooh, all this nighttime stuff. So I'm like nervous. I'm gonna.
I know.
Like,
How are
so
you gonna
tired.
grab your drinks without your talons?
That's what I use my nubs for. My fat fingers for.
Your nubs?
Not your nubs.
Oh Jesus.
Real quick as it relates to that, sorry to interrupt your story. Do you feel this way too, both of you? Like, yes, we work this week, but like we just said, we're going out.
I know.
We're doing things. Like, is this a real week of work?
We said I was like, let's make this week fun.
Yes.
Let's make it as fun as we can.
No, this is like, listen, we are in the middle. Like we had probably 4 phone calls today during the show.
Like
Maybe.
2 texts.
Like nobody's like, this is, I feel like this point of July.
Nobody even cared about my dumpster fire story.
No, we should just turn the transmitter off during the July. Like
seriously.
Like during the second, after July 4th, probably up until the second week of August when people start coming back. There's nobody listening. Like it's just us talking to each other basically.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, girl, that's fine.
Okay, well, yeah. So we're just gonna have a time this week.
It's very much senioritis. It feels like
if someone's coming in loosey goosey, we just don't say nothing.
Yeah, it's fine, honey.
It's fine.
But yeah. So this weekend, Wednesday, we went to go see A Quiet Place, day one,
Whoop, whoop.
which was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And then Thursday was Abe's birthday, 4th of July. So we woke up. I had the whole day planned, but I asked him like where he wanted to go for breakfast. And so we told the story this morning about this whole situation. You can catch it on the Miguel and Holly Full Show podcast.
Right.
But then we did this cool thing called Activate, where it's like different game rooms, but it's super interactive. And you kind of feel like either you're on Big Brother playing one of the competitions or you're on the Squid Games without the death.
Right.
But it was like really, really, really fun. I have a whole reel on my Miguel Fuller Instagram.
It
But
looked awesome.
yeah, we had 14 friends. Everybody had a lot of fun. And everybody like, this is to me like them not surprising. Abe was not the major feat, but the fact that I got 12 gays to show up before a surprise. And so when we walked in, Abe just thought it was him, our friend Leighton, and me doing it. And then we were going to meet up with other people. And so then they walked us to the little lobby area, and all of our friends were there and like, surprise. And he was really surprised. And I was like, and I counted and I was like, is anybody in this room fucking late? 1, 2, 3.
Damn.
Okay, everybody's here. So I made sure to over communicate. Like I sent out probably 5 different texts leading up to Thursday where I was like 11:45, 11:45, 11:45.
Damn, that early?
Yes.
Get it, girl.
I was like, get there. Well, just because I knew that we would probably be running a couple of minutes late, and I know that we have some stragglers that tend to run a couple minutes behind. So I was even packing in some grace period time for the surprise.
So
That's
what was the actual start time for your games?
Noon.
Oh, okay.
And
We
they
were
got
just
there
playing
at
with
what
the devil
time?
a little bit, but dancing
Yeah.
with the devil. But okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So yeah, everybody got there 11:45, and then
Ooh, yeah.
we were planning on getting there at 11:55. But then because the whole stuff with breakfast and how it was like that was just a disaster, we
Yeah.
got there at like 12:03. So I was like, go. But it was such a fun time. But I was saying behind the scenes that with these sort of like interactive gaming places, I feel like it really shows people's strengths and weaknesses when it comes to like physical challenges or like mental challenges
Or leadership.
Yeah, like who's getting the team together. And so it was really interesting to sort of see how people work together. But it's one of our friends, Anthony. So funny because he's so aggressive and he's like, go, get over there, get the fuck over there. And we're like,
Yeah, there are those people.
I could see that.
yes. And then like our friend Leighton is like super smart, and like when it comes to the word things, which you thought I would be the good
I thought
one.
you would be a good word person.
I think under pressure is where I get nervous.
Yeah.
And so after the first round, I warmed up and I got a hang of it, but it's a little nerve wracking. So what it is, there's one room where on the screen around you, the 4 walls, they have different just random letters around. And so on this big screen in the front of you, it'll say, all right, spell a 5-letter word. And so the words or the letters that are around you, they're obviously out of order, so you don't know. So
Right.
and it's not the whole alphabet. So you have to be all right. What numbers do we, or what letters do we have? What can we spell?
It's like you. But I think the hardest part is that it's all around you, right?
And it's not spelled obviously out the letters.
Right.
And so
it's like
you
a jumble. It's like
right.
a word jumble.
And so you have to have a strategy. And so the strategy, first we didn't have one. We were just like, Leighton was just like, do this word. And we're like, all right, boom, 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 boom. And so then I'd be like, all right, somebody hit H. We're doing a 4-letter word. So let's just all start yelling out 4-letter words and let's see what we have. And then that
Good
helped.
strategy. Yeah.
But like, it took a minute because the first round I just stood there and I was just like,
It'd be like that. It'd be like that.
Did you have an H, or were you just saying H words?
oh no, I was just saying that just as an example. But
Yeah.
like once we did, because I'd be like around me, I'm like, all right, here is an A or here
Okay.
is an F. All right, let's with 4-letter F word.
Okay, we know.
But it was really fun. And then after that, we went to our friend Spencer's pool and hot tub, and had like all this food delivered, and everybody people came in and came out, and we had a good time. And we were there till about 3 o'clock in the morning, just hanging out in the hot tub and the pool.
Man,
Oh,
so
late.
many things to do.
Yes, it was.
3 at a pool.
Late.
And then Friday we did nothing. Everybody was like, thank y'all for a very good day. We're so glad that we got to celebrate Abe, but y'all killed us. Like, we are absolutely
you were out
dead.
till 3 in the damn morning.
And then just the sun and the pool and the booze.
That's the thing. It does it to you.
Workout.
And so we went straight from that to being out in the sun and and drinking all day. So Friday, literally, we did nothing. And then Saturday, we did a little brunch. And then we tried to go support this lesbian party that they had. They had like a patio party for lesbians called Girls Room. And so we were like, oh, we'll go for a little bit just to like celebrate. But like the patio at this place where it was like really small. And there was probably 7 of us there. And we took up most of the seating space in the shade. And so after one drink, we were like, all right, we're going to leave because
you're not lesbians.
No.
Right?
Well, the lesbians started to show up and then like they were all out in the sun sweating and we were in the shade and we were like, I think we need to go.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. You get out of a lesbian's space right now, you pampered ass gay men. No.
We were like, we gotta go because we were trying to support because like the DJ, one of our friends knows, and he was like, oh, they're always, wanting gays to show up just like so to show support. And I'm like, probably when there's more space, this is not the time.
And there's only a few seats in the shade.
Right. Yeah. So we were like, bye, we gotta go.
Good that you showed face.
Yeah. So we went. And then we ended up just back at we did go to this place Slingshot here, which is like a gaming place where they have like video games and stuff. And so everyone was really surprised, and I was surprised that I played is it Call of Duty where they have like guns?
Yes.
Like for like an arcade. Well, I'm not by any means like a professional, or I have been trained in shooting, but I have had some friends in the past that have taken me shooting, and I have gone to a couple of gun ranges where I have learned the proper techniques on how to do it. And so everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing? Because like I got the shotgun and I stood up and then I'd like had my stance. And then I always been taught that you put it up against your shoulder and then the way you hold it. And everyone was like,
I've never seen anybody in a video game do that shit.
Right.
But it worked.
But they were like,
I'm not fucking around right now.
I was like, this is why I don't play video games, because I get very competitive and everyone's like having fun. I'm like, move the fuck out of my way. And there were like kids at Slingshot too. And I was like, we need to go.
Oh, you went in the daytime.
Yeah, we went in the daytime.
Yeah.
So that was a really fun time. And then yesterday, Ava and I we were like, we're going to stay at home because we have 8 days of drinking on the cruise coming up. So we just stayed at the house. We made breakfast tacos and made some steak last night. So it was a good little day. So we had a fun 4th of July weekend.
Look at that.
Any last comments or anything before we get going today?
I can't think of any. I can't think of anything. I don't think.
Mm.
This week we're just. I noticed a lot of people in the comments were like, "I'm listening. I'm here." We know y'all here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're not talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about listeners to the terrestrial radio signal. Just they're coming and going, and who knows what.
And you know, if you're like, I see Heather. She said, earbuds go in at 5:50 through the entire show. And now sometimes I'm quiet, but I'm here. Thank you. We appreciate it. And, you know, feel free to just text in, you know, especially this July, just, you know,
please
comment on something we said. Cause sometimes that's like the craziest thing is like we do a show and, you know, and I feel like even Holly back in the day when you and I started in 2008, like you would not get phone calls, but you'd be like, oh, well, that's just the day. But because we have so many ways that we communicate with you throughout the show that when we don't hear through any lane,
means,
you're
it's like, oh wow, no one's listening.
You're like,
well,
okay.
Also it's not just us, like it's not just us having negative mindset. Coaches and like radio programmers will get ratings and then go, no one's listening.
Right.
No one's listening to y'all. So we're being told that.
Right. And so then you get in your head
told that no one is listening to our drivel. And then you're just like, well, I guess they're right. So anyway, it's all very just all that mess.
Just get in our heads.
Yeah.
And yes, Zinda, I have to find that audio today. We're gonna replay some of the audio from the engagement. Because we did have a Charlotte caller who called in this morning because she was watching 100 Day Dream Home on HGTV, and they saw the episode that Ava and I ran, and Holly was in too. And she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know," because they show part of the engagement that happened on the radio. And so she was like, "I didn't know. I want to hear the full story." And we were like, "Oh, someone cares." Because when we started here, no one cared.
No one
Well, and that's not their fault. Why should they?
There's no reason you should. So yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow morning at I believe 8:40 or 8:20.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you all on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.
Holly